federal prison. He actually was sentenced to 10 years when he was only 19 years old. And the way the entire situation came about, it poses a question for me. So I'm gonna kind of sum the entire story up. Mykal had some difficulties at the time. He had experienced, first of all, being kicked out from his grandmother's home. He transitions from living with his mother to his grandmother's home at one point when he was very young. And because he was still given some trouble at that time or not following rules, grandma kicked him out. Once grandma kicked him out, he was still hanging around, other kids who were getting into, some troublesome things. And according to him, what kind of led to his arrest or his bad behavior started with, himself and some other friends beating up a Mexican. So he somehow became involved with a person who would ask him to help sell or get him connected with someone who wanted to buy or sell guns, something like that. And that person was not paying him. He wasn't profiting off of doing this. He was just the connecting these two people. He was the middleman, and he wasn't making any money. He was just young. 19 years old is young, especially with the type of past that he has. So Mykal discovered that something was wrong because he ended up selling this guy or a friend. He considered this person a friend. He ended up selling him a gun that did not work. So when he got a call from this young man saying that everything is great, everything is good, he knew something was strange, because why wouldn't you complain and say that something is wrong with the gun, instead responding and saying, hey, everything is wonderful. After that happened, because he realized that something was off, that this person must be an informant, he then had a plan with his other friends to rob this person. So I'm just kind of summing everything up here. My point is, they robbed this person, and when the robbery took place, this person came, or they met under, of course, false pretenses. Hey, meet me, for whatever reason. And then they proceeded to rob him. And he was with some other agents whom they also robbed as well. So they all get arrested for this. And come to find out, this person had already been associated with the feds as an informant long before young Mykal had come into a life of crime where he was, doing what he was doing with this person. And so I say that to say, are certain communities being targeted to purposely place them in prison, to purposely, place them in these situations? Mykal had not had enough education, had not had enough guidance. And once you put people in a certain area, you're liable to, have certain experiences. A lot of people wonder, they come from the same place, and they kind of wonder, how come we all have the same experience? Like, a lot of people in the same community may have a lot of experience with no father in the home. A lot of people from a certain area may also have experience with having a parent that's addicted to a drug. And so for that reason, I'm saying that, these people are put in this certain area or this community, and then they're targeted, right? I can even use Larry Davis as an example. The history of Larry Davis. Larry Davis was used. He was, yes, into selling drugs and things like that, but he was associated with these corrupt cops. He was being used, and when it was all said and done, they tried to kill him, right? So I just posed the question because I don't think it was fair that this young man at 19 years old was, first of all, the federal agent came up to the young man, even though the federal agent was his age, because he also was a victim as well. The young boy who coaxed Mykal Hall into, committing this crime of connecting to sell illegal guns or whatever the case is, he's also a victim too. But my point is, I think the system is flawed and that certain people are being targeted. And I don't think it's just on race, being targeted based on your experience in your community. And this is the reason why a lot of us just have to be careful, because when certain things are being promoted in certain communities, it means that, you could be targeted for certain things because they look for certain things or they know where to get certain things. And why is that? Why is that? Why are these communities being targeted? Why do they want you to commit a crime? Even though, everybody will get on social media, on the news, and boohoo when crimes occur. But the reality is, this is what the world is living off of, is it not? Do you know that prosecutors, they gain their raises, they gain their promotion, their performance is based on how much time they're able to offer a defendant in court. Prosecution attorney. I should have had that up already, but prosecution attorney, performance, expectations, I guess. But yeah, I've read that before. That's what their reviews are based on. How much time, if they're able, the more time that they're able to successfully get to give that person, that looks better on them. So it's kind of like when you go up for your work review and you're saying, I've been able to accomplish 5 out of 10 or whatever the case is. Now, rightfully so, if somebody has murdered someone, if someone has arred someone, if someone has did like this tragic crime, right? But these other cases where in actuality there's like little things being put in the community, little rat traps that are being set up for these kids or these particular kind of people who are less fortunate, for them to fail. So I don't know. I just kind of wanted to express my opinion about that. I also wanted to, at some point do a deep dive about former Fall River, Massachusetts mayor. He was actually the youngest mayor. He was 29 years old when he became mayor. His name is Will Flanagan. I took a liking to him. I was not able to really get all of the information about him, but he sounds like a very honorable man. He was also a prosecutor. He even talks about a time where he was bribed. He did not accept it. I saw a lot of comments about people meeting him in person and him actually being this nice, genuine person. And he talked about how, as a prosecutor, he took into consideration that, hey, he talked about how people knew he was fair and that they knew that when they would ask for him by name, and then they said that, you know, if he wasn't there, they wanted to return when he was there, because they knew that whatever it is, okay, if I'm guilty, I'm guilty, and they would be fair with themselves and say, you know what, I did the crime. This it's right that I do some or a portion of the time, but they knew he wasn't going to exceed, you know, some type of unrealistic type of time, if that makes sense. But I bring him in because he was only the mayor for 4 years, between 2010 and 2014. In 2015, there was some sort of scandal, and I'm wondering, I did not really do any much research, but just from first look, I'm wondering if the way he was so beloved, if that caused any issue, if anyone was jealous, and if maybe that's the reason why he somehow, you know, only served you know, the 4 years. So it says here, prosecutors. So in 2015, some sort of scandal occurred. It says prosecutors say former Fall River Mayor Will Flanagan won't face criminal charges after he was accused of threatening a city councilor with a gun. A 62-page report released Tuesday by a special prosecutor for the Bristol County District Attorney's Office found no criminal wrongdoing by Flanagan. City Councilor Jaciel Correa claims the mayor pulled out his gun and put it on the dashboard while he and Flanagan were riding in the former mayor's sport utility vehicle. Correa says he believed the move was aimed to intimidate him after he signed a petition to recall Flanagan. Special Prosecutor William Connolly cited a lack of evidence to bring criminal charges against the former mayor. Flanagan lost the recall election in December. So I brought him up because I think that with his, you know, the way people loved him, the way people revered him as fair, I wonder if they did not want somebody like him in the criminal justice system, because, you know, everything is contrived anyway. A lot of it is contrived. Yes, people do commit crimes, but a young 19-year-old, 18, 17, because that's the age where this young man was getting into trouble. And that's, you know, that's what led him to spending 10 years in prison, in federal prison. And so that's advantage, you know. The feds are there creating these scenarios to where these young and vulnerable kids who don't have the education, the knowledge, the wherewithal, no father figure or adult in their life that can kind of guide them, especially even if sometimes they do have that. You have peer pressure, you have you know, other things in society that can influence them, whether it be drug use or you know, just other substances and influences that can still push them into going the wrong way. These federal agents are going into these communities and kind of spoiling, messing up these children. And the thing that really got me, that I think that law enforcement should not be able to do, during the time where this young man was on the run, or I guess he was supposed to turn himself in, they were going to his mother's job. His mother did not commit the crime. They were going to his mother's job every single day. Now, you know, this young man is not at his mother's job. You know, that's harassment. That's embarrassment. That's humiliation. And, you know, his mother was stressed out and crying. And I mean, I can only imagine. So, you know, what do you think? You know, do you think that at 19 years old that, you know, he should just accept his time and understand, even though, you know, he's too young? And, you know, there's just so many, I mean, I think that's just advantage. I think that's advantage, you know. There's so many reasons as to why a young 19-year-old, even though I know at 18 you can go off and go into the army and things like that, but I mean, in some cases, kids are not really prepared. You know, people are not really preparing kids for the outside world, or how to talk, or how to represent themselves in order to get out of these situations. They're not prepared. So it's kind of advantage. I don't know. I know that, you know, there's not every situation where everybody is innocent, but I do feel like there's a little aspect of corruption here, conspiracy, if you will. What do you think? Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.